Timescales are such a key part of portfolio delivery. What should your PMO be doing for you in this critical area?
If it's a portfolio office, the PMO should be mapping out the portfolio in a way that shows when things are going to happen. One of the big issues that PMOs have to contend with is how you manage that funnel and how you manage it into a sort of BAU environment. And that funnel gets bigger and it gets smaller, and it changes based on how much you've got going through the final stages of the life cycle. So where the PMO can be really effective is mapping the water that's going through the funnel, those projects and programs that are going through the funnel, and determining with a forward view, how much are we trying to push through the funnel in Q3, Q4, Q1 next year. In order to do that, they've got to be on top of the timescales of each of those projects and programs, as well as the dependencies between them. If the PMO can orchestrate that flow of water, that flow of activity, such that the organization can cope with it, then that makes portfolio delivery an awful lot more predictable. And I go back to that term I've used 2 or 3 times now of delivery certainty. That's what leaders want. That's what the CFO wants. They want to know that when predicted, those benefits, those costs are going to be saved, or those benefits are going to be realized. There are 2 finite things within nearly every organization we work with. One is money and the other is people. And the PMO has got to manage that and orchestrate that flow based on the number of people available and the amount of cash that there is to spend. And I think the PMO needs to manage and highlight where there is congestion in the portfolio.
Most projects and programs that are delivered on time, the credit is generally taken by the leader of those and not the PMO. So what part does the PMO play around timescales?
Do you know what? I think that's a brilliant point. And I see it all the time. And I think we, in PMOs, we're slightly our own worst enemies there. If a sponsor has done a good job sponsoring a program, or if a program has delivered on time and it's delivered the benefits that have been promised and it's delivered to cost, etc., then the people that probably should get the credit, and they always will, there's no way of getting around it. The main people that will get the credit will be the sponsor and maybe the program manager or project manager to some extent as well. But what PMOs can do is recognize that the PMO is a brand. And unfortunately, the PMO brand is not best represented generally. When you ask people around pretty much any organization, not within the PMO, you just go to people in the organization and say, tell me what the PMO means to you. They will generally say it means bureaucracy, it means admin, it means reporting, it means processing data, it means making forms and processes that we have to follow. It's sort of making life harder rather than easier. So the PMO brand is often represented in quite a negative way in organizations. And I think the PMO need to really think about how they manage that brand internally. And one of the opportunities is when a program does succeed, is not to go and stand up, on the soapbox and say, aren't I brilliant because I've got a PMO that's delivered that program, because you'll just get pushback. But to make sure that it is visible that the PMO have played a significant role in that program, as significant as the program manager and the sponsor, if not more so, because you've enabled that program to fly. You've enabled that organization, that change initiative to fly. That's the PMO's job. Sometimes I think they could be a lot better at promoting their successes